As the sunlight must part with day to make way for the night's entrance, the salty breeze rolls gently in the dark as a voice whispers, tick, tock, tick, tick. Be still and listen to my warning. All of the mermaids and sea creatures were looking about. Who can this be? Living, sharing, and loving should be the ideal thread of strength in order to grow together, to create a harmonious world, knowing the value of life with gratitude. I, Morfahar, have thrown the hourglass into motion. I'm watching from the shadows among the clouds as I sit on my crescent sickle moon. Have you been wasting time? On the hour, it will be time to consult with my hourglass to collect for one and all. Yes, sitting here waiting patiently, thinking there is more time, but when I appear before you, time has run out. Don't fear, I will wrap you in my warm cloak as you sleep. Not to worry, for you will never know how beautiful life can be. I will wait patiently. It is a form of action that I, Morfahar, have come to understand. Time is a natural resource that you will not get back. What action will you be choosing? Hope may still rise in everyone, or not. Tick, tock, tick, tick, tock. As the sand of time fades into the gray-blue night sky, so is the possibility of one and all.
Hello, my name is Susan Drayton. I'm an author and an illustrator of children's books. It's time to share my passion with humanity through creating designs that takes you on adventures. Worthiness was published April 4th, 2017. That was my first book. Worthiness is a story illustrating the search for acceptance through the eyes of a dragon. Seth saw a world that was inviting, but he could not envision how he would fit in. Seth is different than all beings around him. He worries about fitting in. This book is a story of Seth's journey to embrace his self-esteem and his unique worthiness. Targeted audience is elementary age. My publisher is Mascot Books. My second book that I am currently working on is called The Beauty of Naya. This storyline is in editing stages and most illustrations are completed. The meaning of the name Naya is a purpose. In this book, Naya is portrayed as all bodies of water on the earth. She is the great life source that is in danger. All living creatures must unify their efforts to save Naya. They have forgotten to express their gratitude for all she has provided. Time is ticking. Will they unify? So my way of creating my illustrations and my storyline is actually, I'm kind of backwards. I create my illustrations first, and then I write my storyline. But mostly my environment is actually what sparks the emotions in me to just enter the gates of daydreaming, where I pull the contents together and create what I have been doing all along with my designs. Open the golden doors within you and take your soul onto adventures of your daydreams. The opportunities are disguised as fears, worries, anxiousness, and that is where you need to lean in, because that is where the opportunities lie, because you are the magic.
Hi, welcome to Short Film Showcase. I'm Catherine Cook, and I'm here today with Susan Drayton. Hi, Susan.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Well, and we're here today to talk about, we just showed the trailer for The Beauty of Naya. I will say, when I first started watching that, the first thing that struck me was the illustrations. They're gorgeous.
Thank you. So that was done originally with sketch, just pencil on paper. And then what I did was I applied the colored pencils. And it's basically like creating lasagna, where you have to do...
Okay, you're creating lasagna, okay.
Yeah, layers of different colors to blend and have the hues and all the detail. So that takes a while, and it does bleed afterwards too. So you gotta like wipe it down, and then you gotta go back and see if you got the lighting correct and so forth. So it's a process.
So how long does it take? Because each piece, each mermaid, I was like, wow, just this one section is so beautiful. And then having all of it together, how long does that take?
So just one page, depending on the detail,
Yeah.
took me 2 months just to do the illustration.
I mean, it looks like it took 2 months.
Well, I'm a very detailed person, and I wanted to capture the different expressions on every character. And not just that, a lot went into it, not just the art aspect of it, but you really got to sit down and think, what is the purpose of your message, and how are you going to capture your audience? So I had to really think about what I wanted to implement and how, and to capture it in the characters' features. And all of their expressions was, I thought, very important, to not just to captivate the story and tell the story, but also to get the audience really intrigued with it. So the whole purpose of Naya, why I took it to the YouTube level, was that I was having a tough time finding a book agent. And so therefore I said, I'm gonna have to do something. And then with the pandemic, it was like, I have to do something. So this is what came across, was the YouTube, and I found Corey G, who is the gentleman that that really is the founder of the City Surfer, and he does all the video aspects of it. So I illustrate, and he brings my story to life.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I love our combo, because we just really come together and complement each other very well in what we do. And our collaboration is just really a blessing, and I am really thankful for them.
So that is one thing that's been a theme throughout. Everyone's like, yeah, so during the pandemic, I got tired of staring at my walls, so I decided to create a book or create a film. Or rearrange your closet?
So Naya is actually my second book that is still in the pregnancy stages, as I call it.
Okay.
So my first book is Worthiness, and that's about a dragon who consumes a lot of worriness, and with the magic of Mother Earth, and also Amaryllis, I can't say her name now, but Amaryllis, the fairy, along with many fairies, they come together, and somehow the magic just guides Seth to a place of a crossroads where he has to embrace his authentic self or not.
Okay.
So that came out April 4th, 2017, which I'm planning to also incorporate images in the YouTube as well.
Oh, so that was one thing I found interesting. You said that what happens, your process is you create images and then they speak to you.
Yes.
And from there you create a
The
book.
storyline, yes. I'm backwards, yes, you can say that.
I mean, what works.
What works. That's who I am. But
so
yes.
what was the image what were the beginning images that kicked all this off?
With Naya?
Yes.
It just was just giving the whole aspect of how the ocean is being treated, how our planet is being treated. We're just taking and taking, and I don't think everybody is doing enough for balancing things out.
Okay.
With pollution and so forth of all forms, and I don't even think I do enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think I do. So I want to bring awareness to the younger generation that it is important that Naya, which represents all bodies of water,
Okay.
that is very important to us. She sustains life. Without her, we can't have anything grow.
Yeah, it's true.
And so we need oxygen, and we also need, food. So yeah, I just thought that would be a great thing to do. And so that's how I create.
So when I saw the scene where I think it was the guy threw some trash into the ocean, that's when I really got the environmental message that was going through it.
And you can see in the mermaid how she's reacting.
Yeah, and the woman next to him, everyone's reacting at him.
And that was very important to me,
Okay.
and how to really capture those features through having the features, the emotions. Like, I want the children to see, what do you see? Can you feel the possibility of what this character is feeling? So a lot goes into it, a lot of thought, a lot of preparation goes into it, but I love it. I just lose myself for hours.
Yeah, we could turn off the lights and just have you and your face, just the whole studio, just with your face.
I just love it. I love my talents, and I love my gifts. And along the way on my YouTube channel, which is Susan's Adventurous Path, What's Your Canvas?
Okay.
I also like to interview other people. And it's been artists as well, and what they're doing with their talents, and how humanity is actually getting a little piece of heaven through their talents.
Okay.
So it's been pretty interesting. So in between my segments, I have other people as well that are showcased on my YouTube channel.
Now, speaking of you working with these artists, and so they're getting their piece out there, I know a number of people that want to write a book. They've said, I want to write a book, and are stuck. What advice, I know, and you have a different process.
Yes.
So I'm really curious, what advice would you give them?
The advice that I'd give is listen to your inner voice, and just slowly write down those thoughts that you have, the emotions that go with those thoughts. Just write it down. And then before you know it, as you're climbing that mountain, you're at the top.
And everything just comes into play. I didn't know who was going to publish my first book. By the way, it was Mascot Books. And it was like I was just going and going and going with my artwork, drowning in that in a good way. You know, it helped me to escape my reality at the time of all the stuff that I was going through emotionally. So once that happened, I did freeze because I was like, I don't know if I want to publish this. How am I going to publish this? Who's going to look at this? So I happened to be somewhere in Peyton Aram in Dartmouth, and a waitress actually had her book published through Mascot.
Really?
Mascot Books.
And that's not something you just usually bring up.
No.
Hey, can you bring me a soda and do you have any books that you've published?
It was actually a glass of wine, and she brought it to me, and I was with my friend at the time, and we were talking, and she was like, oh, you should look at Mascot Books. I got my book published there. And I was like, okay. So I started looking and looking and looking. I still had butterflies in me because I was like, still not feeling confident.
Yeah.
But somehow, at a certain time during the night, I would just be awoken. And it was like, I can't go back to sleep. And it was literally on my mind. Send it out, send it out, send it out.
I love that.
Finally, I sent it out and I said, you know what? Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I totally forgot about it. And then 2-3 weeks later, I get an email and they're like, we're interested. We love your illustrations. And I'm like, oh my God. So I was like, yay!
Yeah. Wow, I love that. So you got out of your own way. And,
yeah,
and
I
then
did. That was basically it. I got out of my own way and stopped thinking about, the what ifs and how is this going to happen. I feel that the universe does listen.
Clearly.
And whatever you put out, it will come.
I believe in that too.
It will find you.
That's really
so I'm learning.
nice.
I'm learning through all of this, and I'm gaining a lot of perspective. And I love that the magic that I'm in. I love the flow of my magic.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what are the biggest things you've learned?
To be patient with myself.
Ooh, how do you do that?
I don't do it very well sometimes. But
if you do, teach me.
Yeah, I have to literally stop myself and just take a glance and look back and just see how far I've come. And I've come a long way, and I have still a gorgeous path to create.
Yeah.
And the canvas is blank, and I am going to create it the way I so desire it.
And it's Susan's Path Adventures. What was it?
Susan's Adventurous Path.
Susan's Adventurous Path.
What's your canvas?
What's your canvas? And right now you're still painting your canvas.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay,
I love it too.
So then, that sounds so, even if I didn't know you at all, and just from what I've seen, and someone said, oh yeah, this is her website, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds about right. But how did you come up with that?
Like I said, I just wanted to, the whole YouTube thing was about getting the book agent and then just be creative about it. I'm creating my canvas, and I'm sure there's other people that are creating wonderful stuff. And plus, going through the pandemic, I'm like, humanity has got to be still beautiful somewhere. And so it was, this is going to be my path. It's going to be adventurous. And I'm going to showcase my canvas. And I also want to showcase everyone else's, because I'm sure people are going to benefit from their gifts, their talents, however that is, into their communities. And just like, there's got to be love that still exists. And I feel that there is a deep love within all of us that still wants to do good no matter what happens or what life throws us.
I love your attitude. You're just such a positive person. I feel myself kind of getting more cheerful just talking to you.
Well,
wow.
Thank you. But I have my moments. I am human. But yeah, I do a lot of meditations. I'm
I'm a loner. I like to be by myself, not because I don't want to be around people, but I just enjoy my company. And through the silence, I hear my voice loud and clear as to what direction I'm supposed to be going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's beautiful. So
Thank you.
what direction are you going?
I'm going in the direction of creating more, and hopefully I will be walking down a red carpet.
So is there any chance, because the illustrations are gorgeous, is there any, because you drew or
Yes,
yeah.
I draw. I draw all my illustrations and I write my stories.
So is there any way that some of your art, just the art itself, can be seen somewhere?
I have showcased them in different galleries and so forth. I'm just at the point where I want to go into making short films or
Okay.
even a movie or what have you. And it's the messages through those illustrations that I want the children and anyone of all age, because let's face it, we all have an inner child within us,
Yeah.
you know, that still needs to be attended to and come out and play, you know, and the imagination I feel is very important. And yeah, I think it's going to suit one and all, no matter what age and what they're going through. I think they can all identify themselves through those illustrations and the storylines.
Wow, this has been a real pleasure. Thank you for talking with me. This has been Short Film Showcase. I'm your host, Catherine Cook. It's been talking with Susan Drayton.